What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Dumpster Fire. That is my channel. I'm your host, DJ Soundstorm. If you guys have never seen my mug before, I've been I'm just over 15-year DJ and producer in the Chicagoland area. I've done that DJing that puts bread on the table. Everything from local venues to high school dances to weddings to larger stages around the country, and I've been in the industry for a very long time. This is Gas or Pass. We're going to take a look at songs that I've found, newer releases. Today is August 1st of 2023, just to give you a time reference. And it looks like the track we're jumping into today was released on July 28th. It is Long Story Short's Let's Get Ill. Now, here's how we do Gas or Pass. It's from 0. I'm really upset that I had to listen to that song, to 5. That's going to be in my playlist. I'm going to find ways to work that in every single time I've got a show. And a little bit of production stuff in between. I do produce a little bit. I'm nothing special. You guys can check me out on SoundCloud if you'd like to for some of my original releases and my mixes over on Mixcloud. I'm pretty easy to find. Just look for the big dumb S. Today, we are into Bass House, which is a super, super huge affection of mine, because Bass House always does one thing really well, and that's increase the hype when you get to that part of your set. If Bass House is done well, it does come off a little boring to some average listeners, but it comes in really, really nice to set up to get intensity moving and really start building into an intense or a very hype part of your set. Today we're looking at Long Story Short, Let's Get Ill, and let's not waste any more time. Let's see if Long Story Short's got a diamond in the rough here, because I've never heard of this artist before, but let's see how it pans out. Right off the bat, apologize for the pause champing, but again, I love chant Bass House because there's two things that people just innately start doing when they are dancing, having a couple of drinks, and enjoying a show atmosphere. You're listening for those hook points. The hook itself is the part of the song that's going to get people really like absorbed in, but you can tease that and set it up. Get your ass up and let's get down, right? Like that is going to be something really easy, really mentally easy to appreciate, understand, and get stuck in your mind as the track moves. With Bass House, big low end, very pensive in terms of percussion, and for the first 20 seconds of the track, you have to already have the listener excited for what's coming next. About 20 seconds, since we do look at our crowds like educated and sophisticated goldfish, if you can't get the attention from the start of the track between 15 and 20 seconds, you may lose your listening audience already, and they'll pull out their phones, go grab a drink, or something of that nature. Tracks like this are setting the hype right from go, and it definitely has my attention. Proceed. Good juke to the entire drop. Awesome, awesome low end. Really consistent throughout. Adding the layer of the vocal on top of it keeps that hype building throughout the actual drop section of the track itself. Nice high end to low end. So something I talk about with my community when you're going to do something that it uses big low end, big sub frequency that takes up a lot of the listening space. Because you have to look at all of our tracks. Like, you only have so much real estate before you are just hitting the sides of the walls and it gets a little too busy. But this is what I consider the subtronics get after it. So Subby does a really good job with massively and disgustingly layering those low ends. Then you've always got that really high pitch that hovers above it, kind of almost by itself. It seems like it's very detached from the main body of where everybody's attention is supposed to be at. And it adds a really, really nice accent to the track itself. That higher pitched almost moogie sound that they have over the top of this is an awesome offset for the shape of the sounds in the track. It lets the vocal come in and pierce straight through with very little resistance and not sound like it's getting walked on or it's walking over something else, but really, really tight for that, and a nice attention to detail to spread the entirety of the hertz frequencies to really like attack every possible like happy sound area that they possibly could. It's not just focus on the bass, just focus on the bass. There's things dragging that attention all over it. So it's a bigger surprise and a bigger, nice round sound. Awesome job with that. And right back into a really, really short leading riser to get back to it, sounds like, which is if you've already set the bar high, you've got the hype, just let it roll. Oh! Into that second, just an 8-bar with a little extra on both sides with a little more of like the UK garage vibe to it. I've seen this a lot, and it's not something that I really dislike. I actually kind of appreciate it because going from bass house, deep house into UK garage, if you're careful, the hype generation that comes from that with that big, full, multiple voice bass section that moves around is really taking things up to the next level. Starting with more of a basic and traditional like bass house sound. There we go. Words are freaking hard. Starting with that, but then getting into a little bit of that super colorful and motion-filled bass section and low end is going to keep the listener intrigued. It also took away that high-end frequency too. Almost like it's blending everything together that was a part of the first section, and there was some stuff that was teased going into the more colorful UK garage bass at the second section. So that was really cool. It kind of lifted the atmosphere, lifted the energy, and then took it a different direction. Pardon me, to keep everything super, super active and super interesting. And with this type of music, bass house can get really redundant. House itself can get really redundant and really boring for a new listener, somebody that's not there for house. This adding a couple of different flavors and different stylistic perspectives, actually keeping it really fresh. And I'm kind of really digging this. Little 90s tease in there.
And let's get down. Get your ass up. Get your ass up and let's get down. Get your ass up and let's get down. Let's get down. 1, 2, 3. Hit the club like.
Ooh. Ooh.
Let's get down. Let's get down.
There's that frequency again.
Let's get down. Let's get down. Let's get down.
And then drops into that last section. I really, really dig that. Awesome shaping to the track. Good attention to detail in terms of you've got this much time to do something to your listener to keep them hooked. There's a lot of mainly two bodies of the approach for this for the drop as well. It's more of your A intro into your hype, right? Into your B for your drop, a little condensed riser intro just to keep the hype moving, and then like a B.2, or I guess you could call that just C for the next change in the track, back to your A and then ride out. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, a little short for me in terms of what I would do for it in like a full setting. I prefer tracks being more 330 because it means we have the extended section. As a house guy, it's always a little more drug out, makes it easier for transitions, but this is still really, really in my wheelhouse. The electricity that comes from changing up that sub frequency and changing up how the bass represents itself in the track after having a little more light nuance and more bass nuance in the first section just makes this a straight increase all the way across the board. It just starts ramping and just full sends until it's done getting the point across and then tips back down. And then even at the very end, it brings in almost a third chorus just to bop out, but to give that last bop a little more credit with the moving bass, with the tone coming back from the first chorus. So more of an A, B, C, then A, and then back to B for this one. Really, really nice shuffling, and that's something everybody's got to think about. Most of your live sets are going to break into 3 minutes of what's going to be considered like your meat and potatoes. And right at that 3 minute mark throughout your set, you need to put a little change in. Your listeners get tired of listening to the same sub frequency, the same synth, the same pads, the same everything. So you've got to find something when you're mixing to make sure that you kind of stylistically have a break for your listeners' ears when you're using extremely heavy bass music. So I really like this because there's a lot of things getting thrown around and playing has breaks built in, good attack points starting into the track and to get out of it at different locations. And the segments would be good to be used in tangent with something else as well. Some of these in that second part of the chorus, I think, is you're keeping that as is. You're going to use that for a super hype generator. You're going to use that for a buzzsaw in the middle of like a Hot 15 or something. But this has nice subtlety, great range from top of the scale to the bottom at different sections. Love the color base adjustment where it's actually getting a little more fun and interesting for that section. And then the entire time, the intensity didn't really drop off. Even when it was just the vocal and kind of setting up for the next spot, it still just kept elevating. This is super, super on the edge of your seat, ravey music. I love the kind of 90s feel that's attached to this track. So, I mean, based on, I could probably keep talking about a lot of little different significant sections, like how crispy the vocals and stuff were, but I think I've heard enough. I'm going to have to give this one a 4-1. This is absolutely gas. Long story short, let's get ill. Make sure to check this guy out. Give him a follow. Check out more music from him. I'm definitely going to do that. Now I got to find out how I can get this track and support the artist, so I'm not stealing shit because we don't want to do that. But really, really good start. It's been a while since we've got in for some gas or pass. Started this one off really good for the month of August. I am digging this track, and I hope you guys are too. Just as an update for stuff that's coming up, you guys are keeping your eyes here on the YouTube. Our new release schedule is going to keep our dog videos on Sunday, our gas or pass on Fridays, and on Wednesdays we'll be working on more of our classic RPG release times. So we're hoping to get 3 releases a week. Make sure that we've got more of the dog videos and some of the shorter form content over on our TikTok, and we are still streaming over on Twitch. Do me a favor, look at those up if that's other places that you yourself end up spending time, and look for the big blue S and give me that follow on those sections to get more content from yours truly. That's going to do it for this episode of Gas or Pass. Let's get ill. I'm digging this. What a way to start off August, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure to stay in the mix, and we'll see you next time.